Okay, hello there. I'm back again. This time I'm showing you my Steampunk mechanical talking bass. And yes, his mouth moves. These are the bass you see at yard sales and thrift shops all over the country. These are the singing, talking bass, and they can be modified to do other things. Maybe not much, but they can be modified. Anyhow, what I got cooking here, I found out when you apply power to the motor that controls his mouth, the mouth opens its widest. When you release the power, the mouth closes automatically. So that's pretty cool. So what I got going here is I got an Arduino Nano on board, and I've got some little relays. Just because they look cool. I could have done this with transistors. Obviously I don't need to carry this much current using these big relays, but I like the look of relays. They're cool. I like how they're mechanical and they make all the sounds and lights and all that. So I added the relays. One relay is controlled by the Arduino and will make the mouth open, and when the relay goes off, the mouth closes. Okay. The other motors I intended to drive from the relay, so that's why I added these relays. I found out they work better by reversing power. Much as what you could do with it. Let's see how to explain this. If you apply power, the fish will wig. There's two motors in here, one for the tail, one for the head. And if you apply power to the tail, for instance, the tail will move, but then it'll stay there, and it doesn't want to come back real quick. So you need to reverse the power, and then it'll flip back. So you want to go forward, reverse, forward, reverse, forward, reverse. These relays aren't really conducive to that. You would need double pole, double throw relays. These are only single pole, double throw relays. What would work better, I found out, is an Arduino H-bridge driver, which are only a couple of dollars. I ordered some of them from China, so I'm waiting for that slow boat to arrive, in which case I will have my H-bridge motor drivers, and I will use one of those to control. One H-bridge driver will control two motors. So I will set that up on here somewhere, and that'll control the front and the back. So the bass will flip upon computer control. When I want him to flip, he'll flip. Added a little DC motor here. Got a little gear, just spins, does nothing. I put a servo motor, an RC servo motor inside him up here. I noticed it doesn't stick well to his skin. What I'm going to do is pull this up, squirt some more hot melt glue in there, and it'll form kind of a sandwich between his skin. This thing's not going to go anywhere. The purpose of this, I'm going to run code on my little Arduino Nano that does like a rudimentary radar type display. I'm going to somewhere on my walking stick have a small Arduino display which will show me radar and collision avoidance, so when I'm walking with my fish I don't run into people or objects, because of course that would be a concern. My fish is also going to talk when I push a series of buttons that I have not located yet. It's going to trigger the microcontroller to play back different MP3 files, which I will have a small MP3 player on board that's Arduino controlled, and I will keep my sound files on a micro SD card which resides inside the MP3 player board. Anyhow, I'll play different stuff I record. Maybe I could get my wife to say some stuff. Maybe I'll say some stuff, the kids, I don't know. Maybe I'll record some little snippets, some old-time commercials or something. Maybe taunts. The fish might say something, for instance, "Have you not ever seen such a thing before as a talking fish? By Jove." I don't know. I could get carried away with this. Anyhow, you got to have lots of valves, got to have lots of gauges. I got a little converter here. I'm going to run this all off of lithium polymer battery, a LiPo battery, And this is a converter to drop the voltage down to 5 volt. So I can feed anything in here up to like 35 volts or something like that. Obviously I'm not running that much. I'm going to have like probably a 12 volt LiPo battery, feed that, and then I get nice clean 5 volt down here to go to all my microcontroller circuits. And I'll have a lot of stuff on here eventually. I've got a lot of this stuff from the local recycler. As long as you wear a vest and a hard hat, you can go in there. They let you look around and pick out any stuff you want. Then you could buy it for just the cost of, the raw metal, dirty metal, I guess they call it. Got this really cool, heavy-duty bathtub faucet. Makes a great handle. And as you can see, the fish looks pretty good mounted on there. I mounted him really solid with a lot of some little parts and also a lot of hot melt glue. So he's not going anywhere. He can wiggle on there pretty good. And obviously I'll have to have an onboard speaker. I'll have to have a small onboard amplifier. All these little parts. Let me just show you some of this stuff. Don't want to break my little vacuum tubes. A lot of this stuff get from China, get off of eBay. All these little controllers, sensors. It's just a hodgepodge of stuff in here. Little cameras, little variable speed controls. All kinds of ideas. Little servo motor controllers, little amplifiers, audio amplifiers. Little circuits like that be easy to incorporate in your steampunk projects or your walking cane with a fish on it. Let me show you some other stuff I got here. Bear with me. I told you about the local recycler. I went out there, I spent about $12. All this stuff, most all of it. Now some of it just got tossed in the box. But check this stuff out. Stuff I'm taking off of old printers, old gears, old chains, lots of pipe, old printer part, printer head, brackets, pipes, copper, aluminum, gauges, old-time valve, other valves, really cool armor for electrical wires. Lots of pipe. This is the way to buy pipe. Don't go to Home Depot. Don't go to the big hardware stores and buy your pipe. You'll go broke. Go out to your recycler or your junkyard. This is the kind of steampunk stuff you need. You don't want new stuff. You want stuff like this. I take apart these old printers that I get at the local thrift stores for 50 cents or a buck. I get all kinds of little gears out of them. Obviously, I don't get big gears out of them. A lot of this stuff you can find at your pick-a-part, your automotive pick-a-parts. My local one, I pay $1 to go in there and roam around. I find this stuff laying on the ground. Here's a wheel I was thinking of putting on the bottom of my walking cane. I was going to have like a rubber end on it to where when the cane is tilted, you could roll it on this hokey wheel. But when the cane goes vertical, it sits on the little rubber tip and you can kind of rest there for a moment. Looks pretty hokey. Might fit right in with the theme of the walking stick. Some more brass. Look at all this brass. A lot of it's corroded and rusted. That's just what you need. This old welding fitting had some gauges on it. So anyhow, if that hasn't bored you enough, I'll entice you with some of my other stuff and end this video. I'm building an Arduino shooting gallery over here. Got a whole bunch of moving targets on it. all stuff I picked up from the partly from my kids' toy boxes and partly from the Goodwill. You got all kinds of moving stuff with targets. I am building a laser gun with a that I shoot at the various Arduino sensors on there, and I'm limited just by the code I write to, you know, what happens. I've got all kinds of sound effects on there. I've got a lot of motion, got a lot of lights, and got a lot of raw materials stuck on here. Pardon me. Anyhow, lots of raw materials, stuff everywhere. And I'm going to end the video. If I haven't bored you enough, maybe I'll bore you with the next video, and then I'll show you some of these other projects I got in mind. And anyhow, as always, thanks for watching, and see you later.